What is up, guys? It is Joe. We are back. We're talking ball about the Cats today, specifically jumping into the NIL conversation as some new stuff has come up this week that we got to talk about. Let's be upfront about that right now. Before we get into things, let me say two super quick things. First off, if you're a fan of the channel, if you like K-State basketball, K-State football, be sure and drop a sub to the channel. It does help me grow, and I appreciate each and every one of you who interacts here, watches the videos, does anything they feel like doing. I appreciate you guys for that. And secondly, you may see it, I am fitted up with the Wildcat NIL merch. Got the sweet rope hat with the Wildcat NIL embroidered on the side. This thing's beautiful. These shirts are incredible material. I am fitted to the max thanks to Wildcat NIL, and I wanted to give a quick shout out to the guys over there. Ryan Hennington, who's been incredible to talk to, and hear their different approaches to how they plan to forge the path in the NIL space, how Kansas State continues to be at the forefront of this, as well as a guy like P-Mac, Pearson McAtee, a guy like Curry Sexton as well, a dude who's a K-State legend on the football field already, and then he continues to do stuff off the field that helps future K-State athletes. So huge shout out to Curry. They also do a great job over at Cats Talk on YouTube. Be sure and go check those out. I have been crushing that content, so I saw the Coleman Hawkins one yesterday, and basically the second one's uploaded. I'm checking it out, so be sure and do that, as well as consider helping out Wildcat NIL. It could be as low as $10 a month. It could be $1,000 a month if you're throwing around stacks. It's up to you, but every single dollar, every single person, every single donation helps and counts, man. We're going to talk about NIL war chests. That's the term that's been going around a little bit lately. The war chest thing caught my eye. There's a recent story done by Matt Norlander and I believe, let me double check the guy's name, Gary Parrish, my bad, Big Gary, that's on me, brother. Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander, they've got a cool series going on CBS Sports where it's Coaches Unfiltered. And it's basically they ask 100 different coaches a topic that's a hot button topic and they keep them all anonymous. Today the question was, who has the most NIL money in college basketball? And folks, there's been a lot of NIL talk about Kansas State lately, and for good reason. The team has been throwing around some cash. They've been big players in the NIL space, and it's refreshing to see because, I mean, it was maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago, when I was like, there is no way that we only have 200 donors to this group. I mean, there's so many more passionate K-State fans that maybe just haven't moved from the sideline to a contributor. There is no way that it is what it is. There's too many supportive people to be at the number we are, and now looking back on that, it's insane because you see that and you say, wow, look how much further we've already taken. I mean, it took like one summer and the boys stepped up. We got the right money to play in the different field. I know it's a constantly changing environment and NIL will constantly switch every other week, but the biggest thing is these dudes aren't the bad guys in NIL, and that's the biggest thing. There's some bad dudes in NIL that do some weird, suspicious crap. These are not those guys, man. I'll just tell you that right now. These are guys that work for K-State fans. They want to have athletes protected, to be covered, for their family to be able to transfer to games. There's a lot of different things they help out with, so it's cool to see how far they've come in such a short time. Specifically to reference that, it was a grassroots campaign where it was every X amount, every 250 people, they'd get a big major donor or somebody to donate X amount of money. It was something along those lines. And it both helped because you got the big top-end prize and you also got the grassroots people like you and me helping out each and every month. But because it's such great leadership and great people, they got the job done. They got to their goal, and now we're pushing forward even further. But on this NIL war chest front, this is what I wanted to talk about. The question was posed to the coaches, and it's basically anyone that's like, it could be John Calipari, it could be a coach that just accepted a job at a mid-major. It could be any Division I basketball, it could be anybody, really. And it basically was, hey, who has the most money, right? 3 teams that you think have the biggest NIL. And I think a summer ago, Kansas State doesn't crack the top 10, at least in the mind of coaches. This summer has obviously changed a lot. There was the Coleman Hawkins report of $2 million as part of the deal. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but the idea, regardless, that people know, okay, Kansas State has money going around. These are the dudes to work with. Wildcat NIL, they're doing a great job. So, looking through this list, understandably, number 1 is Arkansas. They got that John Calipari. They got that Tyson Nugget Factory money, so they're on a lot of ballots, to say the least. So the way it was, write your 3 teams. What was the percentage of brackets that they appeared on? Arkansas appeared on 73.7% of all coaches' brackets. The number 2 team, this is something we'll talk about here in a sec, KU. Kansas showed up on 43.2% of all brackets. Jumping down the list, BYU, our friends over in Provo, 30.6%. Kentucky, understandably, obviously it's changing a little bit now with Mark Pope, 25.3%. Indiana at 16.9%. And then our boys in purple, we got Kansas State checking in with the 6th best odds. They're at 13.7% of all brackets. Kansas State's up there. That is flipped. That normally would not be the case. The work they have done in such a short amount of time is commendable. It's incredible. It is trailblazing and stupendous. Any type of adjective I can think of doesn't go to justify what Kansas State has done. That's ahead of teams like Baylor, Louisville, Alabama, who has money. Illinois, Texas Tech, Duke, UConn, North Carolina, dudes that are traditionally like blue bloods in college basketball, Kansas State leaps and bounds above them. That's the biggest thing you see. So you think about that and you say, well, that's incredible. Kansas State top 6, it's beautiful. Then our guy Jeff Goodman from the Field of 68, and while Jeff Goodman isn't everybody's favorite, what he is connected. He's connected. The dude knows what he's talking about. He responded to the story and said Kansas State should be in front of Kansas. If Kansas is the number 2 team, Kansas State at worst is behind only Arkansas. That is incredible to see, and it's a testament to how much work the dudes have done off the field. But it's not just basketball. Obviously, football is a whole other conversation, but the fact that they're revolutionizing at this rate, it's because of people like you and me helping out each and every month. It's because of people that are tossing around big stacks of money. It's because of people that are in good leadership positions and good relationships with the coaching staff, with the fan base. Like, Kansas State now has money, but it's not just a simple thing to say, oh, we have money because we're geographically in a spot with a ton of money. You know, we're not coming from oil money. We're coming from that farming money, which there's money in the farming world. Just tossing it out that there is money coming around on the fields. But the fact that Kansas State in one summer has done what they've done, and I know it's been more than that. You know, this is a situation where an overnight success takes 5 years, and people are like, wow, when did Kansas State get this money? Well, it was 5 years ago when NIL was introduced. They did the grassroots campaigns. They did the different things to get to this point, and now it's second nature. Hey, I like the team I'm going to support. And you get guys like Coleman Hawkins. You get guys like Doug McDaniel. You get guys like Dylan Edwards on the football field, a chore basketball. Because they have the resources they need, these coaching staffs can be successful. And that will play a factor in class of 2025 recruiting in football, in basketball. You already saw Lincoln Cure commit. Not a dude that I would put my hat on and say this is a big NIL dog that wants NIL money. But the point is, Kansas State is in these conversations where NIL isn't enough of a difference. Because if the playing field is level, the staff, the players, the fans, everybody should feel confident knowing, hey, if the playing field is level, if I'm looking at, say, Alabama for basketball and I'm looking at Kansas State for basketball, if there's at least a similar amount of money at both schools, we're choosing Kansas State. This is a college town. This is a beautiful campus. This is the right place to be with the right coaching staff there. It's not always going to happen. Guys aren't always going to work out that way. But the point is, K-State has eliminated questions. They've eliminated I don't know if we can compete with these guys. We can compete with anybody. If Kansas State identifies the right dudes, that's who we're going for. And that should be a threat to the rest of the Big 12, to the rest of college basketball, college football. Because the only thing scarier than teams that are developmental like Kansas State in football, you think about Chris Kleiman developing guys from 2 and 3 stars, the only thing scarier than seeing what they do every single year in the NFL is thinking about where they start with 5 stars, with 4-star dudes, with dudes that come in the transfer portal that are top 100 players, top 50 players at their positions. That's a wild reality, and it's the one we're living in today. Now, I say all that to say this. I guess 2 things I say all that to say this. The fight isn't over. This isn't just a, hey, we got there, great, we got money, dip out. That's not the case. This is going to be a daily, monthly, weekly, yearly struggle. Every single time, it's going to take everybody. It's not something where we can just do a, hey, we got there, good job, Wildcat NIL, and then fade in the background. We can't just kind of dip out. This is a commitment each and every week. And I challenge you to be someone that moves from the sidelines to being a contributor. And I know also, like, elephant in the room, if you don't have the money, don't worry about it, man. It's not a situation where you have to absolutely do this to be a fan. That's not the case. No one's sitting there saying, hey, if you're not giving X amount of money from your paycheck, you're not a K-State fan. No way in hell is anybody saying that. If they are, they're wrong. But the idea is that if you can afford to help, I think I'd pay $10 a month to win a national championship. I'd pay $10 a month to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I'd pay $10 a month for a Dylan Edwards, Avery Johnson reunion. I'd pay $10 to see Coleman Hawkins come to Kansas State. Like, these are things that we can all do. Every single bit helps. And that's the beautiful part about all this. So Kansas State's war chest, is it better than Kansas? Jeff Goodman believes so. I feel pretty confident about that. Is it better than other programs in the nation? How about top 2, top 3? How good does that sound? Top 5? But the point is, the work's not done. It's going to help out in recruiting, but the work is never done. Now it's a combination of success on the court paired with Wildcat NIL helping off the court. There's a combination of all this. So I'm here to tell you now, if you can help out, it would mean a lot to the guys over at Wildcat NIL. It would mean a lot to me. Get to see some people move out there and help out. It does help immediately. You know, maybe this video 6 months from now is going to be drastically outdated because it'll be different protections or different rules for NIL, different this, that for portal. Like they're talking about getting rid of the spring transfer portal window. NIL matters in every single one of these conversations. You'd rather be a have than have not in this conversation, and folks, we are headed to that territory because we are right where we want to be, but we know there's more work ahead. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about NIL here, as the guys over at Wildcat NIL have done a great job, and I take my hat off to each and every one of them, as well as thank them for this one because it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. You can get it by helping out with Wildcat NIL. There's a lot of great things on their website. If you do move to that conversation of becoming a contributor, you can get yourself some swag like this. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, Thank you guys, Wildcat NIL. I appreciate all the support and all the love you show. And for all of you watching this, man, and maybe listening to this on the podcast, now we've got the audio-only podcast live on Spotify. Apple Music's silly, so it takes a couple weeks extra to get it set up. But the point is, wherever you're listening, I appreciate you. I love you. And soon, baby, soon we will be watching the Cats. August 31st, I'll be watching from a fall wedding. I know. But it is what it is. We're all going to watch the Cats here together soon, and it will be a great day to be a Wildcat. Thanks for watching, and go Cats.